Hello, this is John from smallformfactor.net, aka Confusers. Today we're going to be live streaming the overclocking of the Gigabyte AB350N-Gaming Wifi Mini ITX motherboard. We're also going to be overviewing the overclocking of the Ryzen 1600X processor and a set of G.Skill 3200MHz C14 Samsung B-die memory. I'm going to be the first to admit I'm not a professional overclocker, however I have been doing overclocks on my personal system since I first started building computers going about 20 years ago. So while this is not intended to be a full-on guide, well, it'll be a learning experience for all of us. So feel free to like if you like this video, subscribe if you are not already, and join us in the forum. Let's get going. Hello everyone out there in the YouTube land. I'm just going to quickly update a couple of things and then we'll get going. Right, so today we're going to be overclocking first we'll start off with overclocking the memory on the G.Skill 3200MHz memory that we've got for this board, and then we'll start, once we've hit kind of our limits with that one, we will go ahead and do the CPU overclocking. So first we've got a quick just overview of our stock performance. So this is the performance that the Gigabyte motherboard automatically sets for the hardware. So we've got the Ryzen 5 processor at stock clocks, and the memory is running at 2400 MHz, which is the default that it basically boots up as. So with that, Cinebench R15, we get a score of 1173. So as we go along with our memory overclocking and our CPU overclocking, I will redo this test as an basically just seeing how much of a performance change there is. So we'll go ahead and I'll just swap mice. So we'll give this a reboot. And we'll head into the first lot of overclocking. So as I said, we're going to start overclocking the memory first. When it boots up, there we go. So this is the BIOS screen that Gigabyte presents to you. It is a UEFI bit system. However, as I've noted in the low volume podcast last night, the mouse performance is, well, as with all of these BIOSes, it's abysmal. Definitely not a fan of the setup at all. So we will go and just use the keyboard because the keyboard is the best way of doing this. So we're going to ignore the advanced frequency settings, but as you can see, I'm running at stock clocks here, all automatic, all of that stuff. And right now we're idling at, these are all the stock voltages and whatnot. Settings. So let's go to advanced memory settings. So theoretically, the memory should be running at 3600 MHz, so we can get that one going. And just make sure our timings are correct. So it should be, yeah, see, it starts off at 16. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did set that right. Oh, well, it started off as, it shows here as manual, but the stock it started off with was 16 as all these timings and 36. So we'll go for the correct timings for this set of memory, which is 14, 14, 14, 14, and 34. Make sure it's all fine. Leave the memory voltage where it is. Actually, I think I had this set as profile 1. I did. No, did I? Yeah, there we go. Make sure everything's alright. Let's give this a reboot and see how it happens. Oops. When it boots up would be nice. And oops, wrong keyboard. So in a moment the board will come back up. It seems for some reason not to be happy with this RAM profile that I've set, so I'll just wait for it to come up and just check that it's actually set everything correctly. So I'll go back into this. See, the memory's come up as 2400. I don't know why it's doing this. So I'm going to reset everything and start again.
Can you hear me?
I can indeed hear you, James.
All right.
So I'm just going through. I'm having a couple of issues already.
Audio seems a little low on the stream.
Okay, I can boot that up. Make sure I turn that up the right way. Hopefully that's better. So just resetting all my settings because I was having an issue with the memory overclocking.
Okay. Oh, and I guess for people who don't know, it's James from SFF Network.
Yeah. Welcome aboard.
I'm just here to pester John, make fun of him when he can't overclock.
Hey. Okay, so first up...
Nice. I get to watch somebody else do all the work.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm just hang back and chill. It's nice. I'm gonna get Josh in here too.
Well, if he didn't sleep in. Okay, so I've got everything reset to back to normal. So I've got 3200 megahertz on the memory. So we'll see how that goes. Boot into Windows.
So I haven't run AMD in forever. Does it have XMP?
It does.
Okay. Because yeah, I used to have a Phenom 2 X6 1090T, but I sold that several years ago.
Those were nice.
Yep. Yep. Better than the bulldozers.
Well, that wasn't much of a challenge, was it?
Nope. It was weird though, because like I had it and it was nice. I basically built it because I wanted AMD, because I had already done a 1156 i7 build.
Yeah.
That was a 960 i7 960 or 980, I forget. But I wanted to do AMD. I wanted to do AMD even though the IPC was worse, so I got the 64.
So you can have all of the cores.
Yeah, it had more cores but less threads, so
yeah.
I guess it's kind of a wash.
Yeah.
But then it was weird because then Bulldozer came out, and like especially like people who are just getting into like PCs relatively recently don't realize like how much hype there was for Bulldozer.
Oh, the hype train was unreal.
Oh, the hype train was it was just nuts. And then it came out and it's like, wait a minute, my previous gen CPU is like better in some ways. Yeah. And it's like, this is such a mess.
Yeah.
And then I haven't run AMD since because it's just like the performance just isn't there for the high end.
Yeah, well I don't buy
it is now, but until Ryzen it wasn't. It was pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, because I buy low to mid range because my budget, AMD kind of still worked out for me.
Oh yeah, for a budget, it's definitely still something to look at. But until Ryzen, like the high end was just like a desert.
There was nothing there, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to run some insane wattage, and even then it wasn't that good. Okay, so Cinebench on the 3200 megahertz on the memory, we have a score of 1168 on the CPU. Now, Ryzen is known to be very memory dependent, even just not for for regular processing. So hopefully we see a big jump in all the numbers with the RAM overclocking as we go along.
But does the RAM overclocking have much effect on Cinebench in particular?
Well, it's the easiest benchmark I could think that could be repeatable, unless you can think of something I can quickly download.
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm not much into benchmarking.
Yeah, it's just kind of a, what's the word for it? I thought I could do some gaming benchmarks, but trying to do like a 3D Mark run throughout the stream, like every time I did an overclock would be here forever. So it was a quick, easy benchmark. So we'll give that a reboot and see if I can hit the official timings and clock speed of this memory kit. For those who are watching and are interested in the hardware setup, we are running a Gigabyte AB350N-Gaming Wifi motherboard, an FSP Dagger 600W SFX modular power supply, a AMD Ryzen 1600X processor, G-Skill FlareX DDR4 3200 MHz. I forgot to put the clock speed in the title. A Samsung 900 series SSD, a GTX 750 Ti low profile, Noctua NH-L12 CPU cooler, and yeah. And thank you to Gigabyte, Noctua, and FSP for the review units that have made this stream possible. So we'll go back to memory settings. Oh, I went back to 2400 for some reason. It doesn't seem to be holding its settings.
Are you on the newest BIOS?
Yes. Oddly enough, it shipped with the newest BIOS, which is interesting because
nice.
it was the board shipped before the BIOS went onto the website.
Oh, this is a review board, though.
It is a review board, so that probably helps.
Yeah, I wonder if they went ahead and just did that.
Cool. So I've set this all to... I'll just go ahead and set this to the full memory speed. Whoopsie. The full memory speed that is rated on the kit, which is 3600 megahertz and 14, 14, 14, 14, and 34. And RAM timings to me are still dark out.
It is.
It's not going to boot, is it? Well, this is going well, isn't it? The funny thing is I actually had this running stable, this particular configuration running stable a couple of days ago. And posted screenshots on the forum that I had it running stable at 36. Oh, sorry, 32. Did I just try and start it? Maybe I tried to start it at 36. Whoops.
32 should be pretty straightforward to hit, right?
32 is rated on the board as an OC mode.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's above that it starts getting like tricky, right?
Yeah. I managed to get 3600 stable. But yeah. 1 second. See if it says it on the box as the rated memory speed. Not off the top of my head. So let's see what the thing's doing now. Ah, yeah, I tried to boot it at 3600. No wonder it didn't boot. It's a 3200 kit. Give that a go. Yeah, to get 3600 I had to slow down the timings, but we'll get to that in a moment. You're going to boot. Come on, there we go. Just make sure it's actually correct. So those watching, I'm not an overclocking wizard or anything like that. This is me just playing around. Okay, so we'll load up CPU-Z and just confirm my RAM speeds. Because I seem to be making mistakes left, right, and centre today. Woo! Oops. Memory. So yeah, we're running 1600 frequency, so being DDR, you double that, so we've got 3200. So we are running at the correct speed. And we will run our Prime 95, that's for the CPU overclocking, Cinebench. We'll hit that run. So, James, what are you planning on doing on your stream later today?
I'll probably just mess around in Solid Edge, since I'm testing it out. Yeah.
Any particular goal in mind?
Nah, I haven't really. I went through the tutorial. What's today? Saturday. I went through the tutorial Thursday. Mm-hmm. And then I just did a few real basic things with the sheet metal, just so I have a kind of a very, very rough idea of how it works. It's interesting. There's a few quirks about it, but I'm not sure if it's because I'm not on the newest version. The newest version looks really interesting because it can do airflow simulation.
Ooh, that'd be quite useful for case designers.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing where the air is actually going.
What score did you get last time?
The first one I did with 2400 megahertz, I got 1130 and then I redid that, I think, and got 1180. So that's 30 points bump, which is not really that much. But yeah, we're at 1210 now. I'm going to note that down somewhere so I don't forget, because I will. Typical me, always prepared, not. Open up a notepad on my phone. So yeah, 1210 at 3200. So we'll give that a reboot. Now I know there is I have an idea of some timings that work with 3600, so we'll just load those in. Big thanks to Drew, one of our staff members, who gave me the specs for that one. Apparently it matches his the kit that he has, which he runs on an Intel system, because as we know, memory and AMD right now is a bit of a interesting one, to put it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3700 on the CPU, 3200 on this RAM, and the score was 1210. 1210. Cool. Save that for keeping a track of it and chuck it in the article when I do the review, which is incoming. Oops.
Is the BioStar shipped? I forget.
No.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened to that one.
I think we're in the second batch. Okay.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I can't keep it in stock even now.
Yeah, well, the amount of people that were wanting these boards. Oops, 36. Either I'm doing something wrong or it's really weird, because it doesn't seem to be holding the settings. It's running the correct settings, but it doesn't seem to be displaying the correct settings when I'm doing this. Because I set everything to manual before and did the 14, 14, 14, and then it came back saying auto. So, cool. When I boot it back into the BIOS. Okay, so the next boot attempt we're going to do is one that I have had running before, which is 3600 megahertz, which is outside the rated range of the board. So we're into proper overclock territory now. With 16, 16, 16, 16, 36 timings, which is, well, the rating of another G-Skill kit, which works in Intel boards. Assuming the board doesn't just decide, oh no, this doesn't work, we should have a boot in a moment. Good news, it boots. Well, it works, it's posts at the very least. Which mouse am I using? I'll just check that. Right, so we're open. Double check the speed and CPU Z. Yes, CPU Z, not CPU Z. And we're running at 1800 megahertz frequency, so that's 3600 in the, well, with DDR. So yeah, I Prime 95 blend tested this particular config a couple of days ago, and it is stable on this particular motherboard. So it's a workable configuration, which is nice. And considering the memory issues that people have been having on the Ryzen platform since launch because of immature BIOSes and whatnot, it's good news that we can get up to these speeds on a, well, even a mini ITX board.
I'm really curious what Ryzen 2 is going to look like, though.
There's not very much information at all available on that, which is expected, but almost done. And a score of 1216, so we gained 6 points. Woo! Which is not much, but at least we can run 3600 in the memory speed, which is something that used to be, well, if I remember rightly, used to be relatively unattainable on the Ryzen platform. So I'll try and tweak a bit higher, see if we can get to was it 3773 or something?
I'm not sure what the next bump is.
Let's find out. 3733. I'll leave the timings where they are and see if this boots. Nope, it's not happy. Yeah, the Gigabyte boards, I don't know about other boards at the moment, but the Gigabyte boards, when they fail to boot, they'll try and cycle 3 times.
Oh, before it resets?
Before it resets the BIOS.
Yeah.
And because
can you adjust that?
I can, but it just works.
I mean, can you change how many times it tries?
Not sure, but we can have a look while I'm in the BIOS when it boots up. But the FSP Dagger power supply has a really loud relay in it, which is quite handy for me hearing it.
Make like a click.
Yeah, when a power cycles, you hear a clink.
Yeah, that's for power efficiency.
Ah, okay.
Yep. It switches to like a different circuit to get better efficiency under low loads.
Ah, okay.
So that's why they have relays.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had a power supply with that.
Yeah, a lot of newer power supplies actually have that now.
Okay. I'm just gonna slow down the.
I mean, some of them are much louder than others. Like some of them is just kind of like a soft thud, and others are like a very distinct click.
This one's a very. I've got headphones on, talking to you, and I can.
You can hear it, yeah.
And it's about 6 feet away from me. It's not in a case, but still. I remember seeing it somewhere. Miscellaneous settings. Probably got people in the sorry, excuse me, watching this saying it's over here. Don't go into this one. Can't see it offhand, but I'm pretty sure I have seen an option that you can reduce the amount of cycles it does before it just gives up. Oh,
are you still in the BIOS?
Yeah.
I guess if you could check the LED thing, like if you can turn them off.
Yes.
I'm not sure where that
See if
would
we can
be.
turn off the RGB LED.
I would really hope you could turn them off. Because like on my personal rigs, I turn like all the LEDs off. Power button, like whatever, just all of them. I've even like taped over like the stupid little Ethernet indicators sometimes. I just like it completely blacked out.
know what? I'm going to consult the manual.
Is it not that RGB fusion?
It's called RGB Fusion, but I found a thing that's called LEDC Connect.
That should be the header, I think.
Yeah, I think it's an RGB header, and it Gigabyte claims that it can just reassign its pins to cope with any version of RGB LED strips. Which is good because there's so many. It's one of those things. It's a new thing, so there's so many different standards.
Is it a 5-pin header or 4-pin?
It is a 5-pin header.
Okay, so it can do RGB W then.
Yeah, they market it on that it can do the white LEDs as well.
All right, cool.
Which is good because, as much as I'm not a huge fan of RGB, false white with the RGB it just never looks right.
Yeah, I think the ASRock one's only regular RGB. I don't think it does W or white.
Yeah,
it's a 4-pin. Like if you go under RGB
right
Fusion,
I'm so blind.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I got my head stuck at LED. RGB Fusion. Well, apparently I can set the color of the LED from inside BIOS, and yes, you can turn it off. I'll just confirm that it actually works. So right now it's red, and it's off. So yes, you can turn it off in BIOS. Which is good news for those of you who don't like RGB.
Like me. Yeah. That's cool that you can like change the colors and stuff too, though.
Yeah,
so you don't have to use a stupid software.
Yeah, which is it's awesome. The color it comes with standard is it boots up with red, as you can see.
Okay.
So I'll fix it to orange because that's a better color. There we go. Not that I'm actually looking at the board, but yeah. Right, so back to what we're doing. We got distracted by RGB. What's wrong with us? Oops.
We got distracted by turning it off.
Hey, I turned it back on. Just going to slow down the timings a little bit on the memory, see if it boots with this. Yeah. As I said in my intro, this isn't a be-all, end-all overclocking guide for Ryzen, Samsung B-die memory, or this motherboard. It's just me playing around for an hour or so, or 2 hours, seeing what I can achieve on a mini ITX motherboard. And it doesn't like that, so I get the feeling, unless I start playing with voltages, which I really don't, because this is a really expensive set of memory for our review kit. Until I start playing with voltages, I don't think I'm going to get much faster on the memory.
You probably bump it up a little bit.
Okay, fine. I got approval from someone else that works for the company. Yeah, the difficult bit is I'm used to overclocking with 1.5 volt DDR3. So 1.35 DDR4.
Yeah, don't type 1.5 in. That'd probably be bad.
Oh, why not? Isn't that what those
it's
heat
like
spreaders are
stock
for?
at 1.35, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that what the heat spreaders are for?
Yeah.
I was talking to Drew a couple of days ago, and he was suggesting that this doesn't seem to be in there. Oh boy, multiple things. Suggesting that I get into liquid nitrogen as well on this board.
Do you think the VRMs are up for it?
No.
Yeah. That's kind of the problem with ITX. You have less space for VRMs.
Yeah. Less space for VRMs. The location of the VRM cooler kind of works out if you're using a top-down cooler on this board, because it sits basically directly underneath the CPU cooler if you're using a like 120mm top-down cooler, so you can keep the VRMs cool. But even then, the heatsink gets toasty. Why am I seeing 1.2 volts here? DRAM voltage, channel A and B, 1.2 volts. And yet it says 1.3 volts on here for the profile. Okay. It's probably doing an XMP thing. Yes, it was doing XMP. So When I had XMP off, I was actually running it at 1.2 volts.
Ah, so maybe at 1.35 it could do more.
No, the 3600 booted at 1.35.
Was it 1.35?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
See, I'm learning about this platform. So in that case, I will boot the memory up to... What's a good voltage? I'll go halfway.
For RAM?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure anymore.
Yeah, it changes so much. I'm thinking maybe we go 1.37. Seems safe. Famous last words. So 377. I've still got the slower timings on the memory. Let's see if this boots. Bang! It's not happy. Suppose you can't actually hear the clicking of the power supply through the microphone.
Yeah, I don't notice it.
Time to Google safe DDR4 voltage. As I said, all my 1.5 volts actually safe.
I don't know if I'd want to go that high on it.
No.
It seems like a bit much.
I'll double check that with a different source. Yeah, 1.5 is acceptable for... So I'll hit 1.4 and see what happens. Just throw all of the volts at it. See, my procedure for overclocking, that I've kind of built up over time, is basically throw volts and stuff at it until it actually boots, and then kind of tweak it back the way. Once I've hit a nice where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Like on my Athlon 860K on my main rig, I threw up to 4 gigahertz. Sorry, I think I had it 4.5 gigahertz at one point. I think I added an extra 0.1 volts to it, and then I slowly tweaked it back. Hey, it's booting. I'll just check I actually booted at the correct RAM speed. Maybe it's happy at 1.4 volts. I've got 2 keyboards and 2 mice in front of me. It gets really confusing.
It does.
When I was setting all this stuff up and testing it, I had I had three keyboards and 2 mice in front of me. So sitting on my desktop, and it just gets so messy. Memory 1862. So yep, we're running it at 3733.
Nice.
Close. So let's run some Cinebench. Gigabyte updates. No, I'm not going to update the software. So the last one was 3600 and 1216 on the 3D Mark. Sorry, 3D Mark. Cinebench score. Let's see what we get on this. I'm not expecting huge numbers until we hit the CPU overclocking, but it's always interesting to see how much of an effect memory overclocking does have. 3733, and our score is 1. High hopes, I know. 1214, so it's actually slowed down.
Huh, that's weird.
So I think we're hitting kind of that peak. We need more CPU in there. Oh,
yeah, I imagine that something like Cinebench isn't super RAM sensitive. I imagine it's more CPU.
Yeah, but there was always the
Since
people
it's a rendering benchmark.
Yeah, there was people saying that Ryzen was a lot more memory dependent than previous platforms for just general compute. So I thought it'd be interesting to try it. So on top of that, let's throw some CPU clocks at it. So stock clocks are 3.6 gigahertz. So I'm just going to go balls to the wall and throw 4 on there because I know turbo's up to 4. Advanced CPU core settings. Disable turbo boost. We'll leave cool and quiet on. I haven't actually played with overclocking. Oops. No, I do actually want to save. I haven't played with overclocking the CPU on this platform yet, so this will be interesting. I had to play it inside Ryzen Master. But
can you do any overclocking from Ryzen Master, or is it just like sensors?
No, you can do overclocking through it. Sliders and everything. Oops. It's actually quite for a CPU supplier piece of software. It's actually really well featured, I think would be the best way to describe it. So we're running at 4 gigahertz. I was turboing up to 4.1 before, but that was only on 3 out of 6 cores. So we'll see how Cinebench does. Yeah, I think I'll do some playing in Ryzen Master and see what we can get with overclocks. I just love seeing like 2 digits on the thread count. 6 cores, 12 threads.
What's the highest highest thread count on a single CPU you've had before?
Highest thread count I've had on a single CPU? The Xeon, which was a... I think it was... Oh, I can't even remember what that was.
Because I know you've had dual sockets, so like total
I've had
thread
quad
count.
socket.
Yeah, or yeah, quad. So yeah, total thread count I'm sure was pretty good. So
it was only 16.
Total?
Yeah, it was 4 quad cores.
Threads or cores?
Cores. There was no hyper threading. It was Opteron platform.
Was it Core 2 series?
No, Opteron.
Opterons? Okay.
Yeah, so it was K8 generation, I believe.
It's crazy to think that you can get that on a single chip now.
Yep.
Like how far we've come.
Threadripper 32 and 64. No,
yeah,
no, that's
know,
Epic.
Threadripper. No, or is Threadripper maxed out at 16?
I think it's 16 and 32. 16 cores, 32 threads.
Yeah.
Seems to have fully crashed. I'll just give this a full reboot. So the joy of doing screen capture is you can actually see when it completely fails. I could get it to shut down. Do it the manual way.
Yeah, I heard the click of the power switch.
Oh, I was right next to it.
So I can hear that.
Okay. Now I was trying to boot. So I'll reset the clocks in the BIOS for the CPU and just play with Ryzen Master for now. When it boots. I'm still trying to boot at 4 gigahertz. So I might roll the RAM. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the RAM speed back to something I know is stable. So 3600 with the 16 timings. And then start playing with the CPU speed. So I don't think the board's liking 37.
The world record's 4,000, isn't it?
Really? On the Ryzen platform? Or just in general?
Oh, no. It was 5.5.
Okay, yeah, no, there's no way I'm hitting that.
Well, you wouldn't want to, because I think he had the CPU. It was on Ryzen, or I think it was on Ryzen.
Oh, you've got the Google open.
Maybe I'm misremembering. But it was like it was running. The CPU had been turned down to a single core.
Yeah, that's the thing about like the overclock. Like you see, the current leaderboard on the overclocks is a AMD FX 8000 series processor, like 8,000 something gigahertz. No, 8 something gigahertz. But you look at the CPU said thing. It's basically they've just shut it right down to one module, 2 cores, or 2 threads.
Oh, okay, so it was for 4079.2 megahertz for Ryzen, is the world record, but the CPU was turned down to 800 megahertz with a single core. Yeah.
Oh, it reminds me of I think it's on the Canard PC website for the validation. They've got the most abysmal. One of the records is the most abysmal score gotten with an AMD Duron. I want to try that one day.
So you just try to underclock it as much as possible, I guess?
Yeah, see how low you can get it with it still being bootable. I just imagine how slow the boots are on that system.
Yeah. I want to do like a high-end system, like relatively high-end with 98 on it. Because, man, I bet that would run fast.
Except for the fact that half the hardware wouldn't actually be supported.
Yeah, no. But it's like 98 was fat. Like 98 was really fast, even on like Pentium 3s. Just because it's like there's like the operating system is so bare bone. So I can't imagine what it must feel like on like a modern CPU with like a SSD. Like it must be like you click on something and it just like instantaneously opens.
Yeah. And then you like have issues. Well, that's assuming you can get it all working, and USB 3 and that kind of stuff won't work. And
yeah, USB 3 would be a problem, but I mean, you can buy modern boards with PS2, so that wouldn't be an issue.
I know, I kind of prefer them.
Yeah,
that's something.
And actually,
sorry.
I wonder if we're to the point where it actually wouldn't be that insecure because like viruses don't target it anymore.
No, because there'll be so many government systems out there running that.
98, maybe not. XP for sure, but I don't know about 98.
Yeah. The amount of like blue screens of death and like crashes I've seen at like ATMs and stuff
98.
like that.
Yeah, 98 crashes all the time.
Okay, so
getting on the internet would be difficult.
So, oh no, it's just been. I suppose you won't have anything relatively recent, browser-wise.
The last version, the last browser that supported 98 was Opera, and I think they supported it up until 2006. I think 2005.
That's actually relatively recent.
Yeah, not that bad.
Relatively recent.
Because I tried it not too long ago, like a year or two ago. I messed around with a virtual machine, and yeah, you could get on the internet and like use it. The version of Flash is supported was some ancient version, but
Flash, fuck that.
Yeah, but yeah, it was usable. Not really pleasant as far as internet goes, but you could definitely surf the internet.
Yeah. Cool. So I threw a 4 gig overclock on it via Ryzen Master. No voltage tweaks or anything like that, and we got a score of 1280.
Okay.
So we're now beating a 12-core, 24-thread Intel Xeon X5650.
That's an older chip, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 2.66. X series was LGA 771, I believe.
Oh yeah, that is old.
But
I should update that chart.
Yeah. The 4-core, 8-thread i7-47 is 70K is 822. So on Cinebench, this thing is wiping the floor with anything consumer Intel at the moment.
I should run it on mine just to see what happens.
Anything like 4000 series and older consumer. Yeah, be interesting to see what yours gets because you've got what, 12 threads? 12 cores, sorry?
14 core.
14 core and so 28 thread?
28 thread, yeah. But the clock speed is pathetic.
Yeah. Turn on Windows Firewall. No! Okay, we'll go for 4100. Apply. Hit run. See if it crashes.
So can you set per core clocks? Is that what it is?
I can tweak per core, and it crashed.
Okay.
I can tweak per core, but I can also just do a global clock setting. So it's not happy with 4100 at stock clocks, which is not bad, really.
So it's stable at 4 gigahertz base.
Yeah, 4 gigahertz. I turned the turbo off just to make overclocking a bit simpler, because the turbo it's rated at is 4 gigahertz, but that's only in like 3 cores.
Gotcha. All right, let's see what I get. I have like 20 tabs open though, so I mess it up.
Wait for this to boot.
Yeah, that's the good thing about a 14-core processor is you can run Chrome.
Just Chrome in general.
Yep.
I suppose it kind of helps that modern browsers do just like split all of these. Oops.
Yeah, it's more secure. Yeah.
Yeah, it splits into individual threads and stuff like that, so you can actually do, well, 20-something tabs.
1697.
Whew.
Yeah. Not bad for a 2 gigahertz chip.
That cost how much?
Brand new, it would have been almost, I think, around $2,000.
Jeez.
I paid $350 for it.
Yeah, the joy of old workstation parts are they're kind of nice and cheap. Okay, so
Yeah, they drop in price pretty quickly.
Okay, so
this was $1,846 new. So almost 2,000.
Okay,
It's just the clock speeds on it suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected from a Xeon. They go more cores, less clocks, so keep it under the same TDP limit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm upping the voltage on the CPU via Ryzen Master. So the stock clock is I'm just going to go for the broke. The stock voltage is 1.35. I'm going to go 1.37 and 4.1 gigahertz. And apply that. And see if Cinebench will actually stay stable. Seems to be a little bit happier. Well, it didn't crash instantly like it did last time.
That's an improvement.
It is. Yeah, my personal system, if I'm overclocking and I don't get... I use Prime 95 blend to check stability, and if it's not stable after 2 or 3 hours of Prime 95 blend, it's not a good overclock. That's just me being fussy. And it crashed. Almost made it. That's disappointing.
I haven't been paying attention. Like, how long does this board take to post normally?
Watch.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be weird because it failed.
No. Because it's software overclocking, so therefore it's just booting back up at stock clocks.
Okay.
It also helps that I'm running a I'm running a VNAND SSD, so it's relatively recent.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, because that's the problem with X99 is it takes forever to post.
Well, it's doing a whole lot of what's the word for it?
Yeah,
checks and stuff like that. I've done my fair share of running workstation as desktop or server as a desktop stuff, and I've had boards that took over a minute to boot.
Yep.
Okay, so 1.625 apparently didn't work, so I'm going to go 1.375. Actually, no, I did 1.37 last time, so we'll do 1.375 and see if we can get a Cinebench completion out of it. Yeah, later today I'm going to do proper benchmarks with various other softwares. It's kind of hard to compare it because this is the first AM4 platform board that we've actually reviewed. So we've got nothing really to compare it to.
Honestly, like motherboard benchmarks, I don't find that useful.
I'm more meaning like
because
XOC and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Serial ATA speeds to make sure they actually keep to they max out the solid state drive, that kind of stuff.
I guess you need an M.2 drive at some point so you can test that. Yeah.
I need a lot of review hardware.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy at 1.375, it crashed. So I'm going to try 1.4. See, I'm still used to, in my head, overclocking the Phenom generation CPU, so throwing 1.5 volts and it was like, oh, that's normal. I think my best overclock on the Phenom platform was I bought a 555B Black Edition, which was a dual core. Was it 3.7?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to quickly Google that so I don't sound more of an ass like I already have. That was a beast. The 555 was a beast chip. Okay, so we'll go back to that. It was a 3.2 dual core. But being that generation of AMD, you could unlock cores. So for the price, I bought a 3.2 gigahertz dual core Phenom chip, unlocked to 4 cores on stock voltage, no tweaks or anything, just like, hey, it works. And then overclocked it to 4.5. So I get the feeling that was just AMD like, oh crap, we need to fill orders. Let's lock a perfectly good chip down.
Yeah, I think when Intel bins like that, I think they laser off the other cores. You can't do that.
They all do, AMD and Intel do that now, but that was the one generation I think AMD just like, why not? Let them have some fun.
I think their yields are good enough that they don't really care on Ryzen.
Yeah.
They can just, yeah. They can, they don't have to worry about binning.
Yeah, for a relatively new architecture and everything like that, it's been quite impressive how...
Yeah, new architecture, new process node.
For AMD,
so
yeah.
Had some good luck with that. Too bad that luck's not translating to Vega.
Well, yeah. GPU and stuff like that is completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Still no luck on the 4.1 gigahertz. Yeah. Looks like Windows hasn't loaded it properly. Restart my PC. I hope it didn't. It's just corrupt Windows 10. Didn't install. I'll be so gutted. If I have, that's the end of the stream. I'm not going to repair that on the stream.
You can just reload Windows. It shouldn't take that long.
Oh, there we go. Right, try that again. I might just go whole hog and 1.45 volts.
What's the max recommended for Ryzen?
That's a good question. I know the max temp is 95, which is a big change from last generation, because last generation AMD is all 65, which makes it really challenging for small computing. Profile 1. $1.45. Whoops. Apparently XFR is pushing some people to 1.5 volts. Yeah, apparently 1.45 is basically the max you kind of want a daily drive, and as they say.
Okay.
So if we're not stable on this, either we've got not a great overclocker, or the board just can't support it. Which I wouldn't be surprised, because we're trying to overclock a 95 watt chip on a mini ITX board with only, what, 4+2 power phases. So
I'm really curious how the X299 is going to work.
Elaborate.
I don't know. Well, just seeing it, because it's only seven phases.
7 phases with the issues that we're already having with the VRMs frying.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they're frying.
I don't think people are frying them. They just run hot.
No, I think one of the overclockers killed a couple.
Yeah.
But that's
he's like drawing like 400 watts. So.
Yeah. Crispy. Yep, seems to like 1.45, and we've got a score of 1332, which is getting dangerously close to your Xeon.
What was
your score?
Yeah, this is why I don't stream on YouTube, because the delay is horrible.
Oh, okay. My score is 1332.
Oh, mine was 1697.
Well, considering I started at 1200, I'm getting closer.
Yeah. got a little ways to go.
Yep. But considering this,
so I guess theoretically, like, Threadripper is basically just two of these stuck together, or two 1800Xs stuck together for the top end unit.
Yeah. Well, the bottom end
unit is
two of these.
Yeah, I guess the 12 core would be two of these.
Which is a 125 watt chip, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the top one was 40. Google time.
No. I think the TDPs aren't quite as impressive as people were thinking. Because I think a non-tech had a really good... Oh yeah, the 1920, 1950X, I think, are the only ones we actually have any kind of real details about.
Yeah. I just loaded up the non-tech article on the stream.
It's kind of weird, though.
They're both rated to 180.
Yeah, several people had articles, and I guess AMD just like emailed them out of the blue. It's like, hey, here's some details about the 1920X and the 1950X.
I wish we had that.
And I kind of suspect they did it just to kind of take the wind out of Intel's sails when they announced the new Xeons. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, like on the desktop, like not even the server processors, you can get like more cores for way less money. But yeah, like I think the non-tech article, they said they updated it, and they had confirmation that it's 180 watt TDP for the 16 watt parts.
For the 16.
Oh no, the 16 core and the 12 core.
Okay.
It looks like.
So the 12 core, that'll be probably relatively overrated, or they just crank the clock speeds up.
It's a 3.5 and 4.
That's really impressive for that amount of cores.
Turbo. Yeah, exactly. It's like two of these chips basically running at the same clocks.
Yeah, they're basically, well, as Intel would say, they glued two together.
Yep, pretty much. And I guess it's got the TDP to match.
Yeah, which is to be expected. But if you need the cores, you're gonna deal with the TDP. Oops.
Yeah.
Cool. So it didn't like 4.15 gigahertz. I think I'm at the peak of what this CPU can actually do on this board. But keeping in mind,
I'm sure there's more tweaking you can.
Oh yeah, I don't have time for that. Though. This is like a what's the word for amateur overclocker. What you do in your daily driver rig. What was I going to say? But keeping in mind that this is under a regular Noctua NHL12 CPU cooler. This isn't water cooling. This isn't liquid nitrogen or anything like that.
The temperatures aren't like that crazy good.
Well, I'm sitting at 32 at the moment. My ambient's relatively low, but...
Oh, I so want to put a Threadripper on an L12 just to see what happens.
I think it'll cope. Barely, but it'll cope.
Yeah. Because if it does, I want to make a 7-liter ATX case just for kicks and giggles.
Low profile cards?
Yep.
Yeah. I've looked at that style design before.
Yeah, it really does not make sense for the vast majority of use cases, but it'd just be fun.
some of the rigs on the forum are pretty much like, who the hell cares if it makes sense or not?
Yeah, it's like
we're doing it for the cool factor.
Yep.
Cool. So I'm at 4.15 again with 1.475 volts. It tends to get most of the way through, then it crashes. It's not a temperature over thing, is it? Yeah, I think. No, I'm not hitting temperature because I'm only hitting 70 degrees on the CPU, and it's rated for 95. So I guess I'm just hitting the peak of stability for this system, which is okay.
Nope.
Right. Pop into BIOS. See if I can crank the fan speed up just to give me a bit of a extra. So I'm in the fan control area of the BIOS, and it's very much designed for mouse use. I don't like this.
Oh, so we went with the 1600X because it had the higher watt TDP for the more affordable price. Like ideally we would have had the 1800X, of course, but it's just budget reasons.
Yeah. Cool. And I give it every chance of succeeding, so I've cranked the fan speed up on the motherboard.
Oh, does Ryzen Master report? Does it only report CPU temp, or does it report motherboard temps?
I will have a look in a moment.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people on the forum and stuff have been saying like they're not getting good motherboard temps, but I'm wondering. I think there's kind of debate whether the VRMs are actually running that hot, or if it's simply a sensor reporting issue.
No, the VRMs are actually really running toasty, but that's just doing the finger test.
Well, that's not very helpful.
No.
Like that's one thing that annoys me, is that like human skin really only differentiates between like
temperature and
normal temperatures up until like dangerously hot, and then past that I can't really tell the difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. Do you have like a?
I don't have an infrared thermometer.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, that's on the to-do list.
What about like just like a normal thermocouple thermometer?
I got nothing.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Not seeing anything extra.
Yeah, because that's more of a motherboard thing, so I wouldn't think it'd report it.
Which we can... completely clean operating system install, so I'm using Microsoft Edge. Woo. Downloads. Utility. App Center, RGB Fusion, Cloud Station, CPU Z. Oh, that's interesting. Gigabyte's actually providing CPU Z as part of their support, as their part of the packages that come with the motherboard.
It's probably just a branded one.
It'll be a branded one.
I doubt it does anything special.
No, but it's interesting that they're doing that. I've never seen it before.
Oh, yeah, Asus has been doing that for a while. Or at least the ROG boards, yeah.
Where are we? BIOS setup, just making sure I've got everything. Open! I love my fiber. Don't make me do an install. Restart. It wants me to restart. Let's see if I can get away without it. I never restart unless I really have to. My desktop uptime is usually like in the space of weeks. Just minimize that.
Yeah, I used to do that, but I got too much information on my machine, so I have the drive encrypted, so I turn it off every day.
Just to make sure it encrypts.
Yeah, because when it's booted, the drive is decrypted. Because otherwise it can't work.
Yeah.
So if you put it to sleep, it's still decrypted. So the only way to get it to re-encrypt is to shut it down, which sucks because it's X99. So then it takes forever to post. But I don't know. I just put up with it.
I haven't used this version of the software before.
Yeah, so we purposely wanted the higher TDP for heatsink testing.
We've got questions in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, so yeah, for normal, for real world use, then yeah, the lower TDP would make sense.
Yeah.
But we purposely wanted the higher TDP.
Yeah, we bought the cheapest 95 watt X processor. That's how it worked out.
Yep.
Easy Tune's not helping me here.
Oh, have you tried the auto tune yet?
No.
I'd be curious what it comes up with.
Go away, Windows Firewall. I can't see what I'm doing.
It works pretty well on the Asus boards.
Okay. I've never actually used it. It's not something I...
Yeah.
I usually manually tune everything because that's just how I roll.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just curious what kind of results it comes up with.
One way to find out. I've turned off Ryzen Masters overclock, so we'll have a completely clean slate, as they say. It's like Gigabyte apps. Oh, there we go. I was going to say it's not working. What a tune! Why won't you do that? There's probably something to do with that. Maybe it has to test or something. Okay. Why can I not pick auto tune? Do I have to give it a reboot?
Is it because it's manually overclocked in the BIOS?
Possibly. I'll go and reset everything to default and we'll come back. We'll see what Gigabyte suggests our system should be doing, eh? Okay, CPU clock row shows auto turn.
Yeah, only problem is I'm like 3,000 miles away. Somebody's Casper is saying in the chat that the board doesn't like you, so I should give it a shot.
Yeah, the shipping time on this would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oops. Actually, we'll set everything to auto.
But don't worry, I'll try melting the X299, so we'll see
do.
how that goes. Yeah.
I mean, after the stream... Sorry?
I want to see if I can push it like, what's his name, Roman does. pull 400 watts through the ITX board.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So, if we're here for the first case of, like, what's the word for it? Non-professional nuclear fission, we know where it started.
Though that kid who built a reactor in his shed, like, yeah, well, he built it when he was a kid, but he passed away, I think, earlier this year, I think.
Oh, okay. I remember he had major issues with radiation poisoning.
It wasn't too bad, but I think what it was, I forget what he died of. It wasn't related to the radiation. Because like later, like I think he joined the military. I think because I was reading the article, I think he joined the military, and I think he had trouble with like PTSD and stuff, and I think he maybe died of an overdose or something like that.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Smart kid, otherwise.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I think he, what was it? I think he scraped the radium from like smoke detectors or something like that. Yeah, which is crazy. I never realized that they had like radioactive materials in smoke detectors.
Yeah, there's two different types. There's the light type, and there's the yeah, there's that, and there's the radiation type. Basically, they both work on the same way. The smoke will block the sensor. And most modern types they've kind of gone away from the radiation side of things because of, well, cost.
When people trying to build nuclear reactors in their shed.
I think that was a one-off, really. The quantity of radioactive material in a smoke alarm is minimal.
Yeah, it's tiny.
I think if I remember rightly, he basically almost went through an entire container load of smoke alarms.
I don't even remember, but yeah, that sounds about right.
When it boots. For some reason,
now it's all about...
Sorry?
I was going to say, it's all about that solar panels now.
Yeah. Well, I was
solar... Oh, go ahead.
On my flight back to New Zealand from Hong Kong after Computex, I was watching a documentary. I think it was on about the island of Tokelau, which they're the first country in the world to be completely solar powered.
That's cool. Is solar much of a thing in New Zealand?
Not yet. We've got such ready availability of geothermal, hydro, and wind power. Solar power.
Okay. Is that
hasn't really kicked
like
off.
where is most of your guys' power renewables already, or
I think we're sitting at 80% during, probably about 90% during summer and about 75 to 80% during winter.
I guess because I'm assuming you don't really have like coal deposits or anything there, right?
No, there's a huge amount.
Of coal?
Yeah, we've got oil too.
Huh.
Oh, I shouldn't say that too loud. You guys will invade us.
Yeah, we'll have to invade you. Yeah, give you some democracy.
And some freedom. No, I can't do auto-tuning.
We'll deliver you freedom, except it's probably going to get delivered via B-52, just so you know.
Yeah, they'll just stop off in Australia. I'm sure they'll be happy to help out.
Yeah.
I'm probably doing something really silly here. Why can't I?
Does Australia have oil? I know they have lots of coal.
They have lots of... Yeah, they've got lots of coal. I don't think they've got oil. I know they've got a lot of deadly creatures. That's about it.
Yeah.
And a government that makes the US government look really... well, not corrupt, but like the opposite. Okay, so...
Well, when it comes to energy, they're total mess over there too.
Yeah, well, it's mostly... There's a lot of nuclear over there. I can see the temperatures of an easy tune. The VRMs are sitting at 30 degrees at the moment, but my CPU is sitting at 6 degrees, which is BS.
Wait, how much?
6.
Oh, you never know. It's winter there, right?
It's not that cold.
Winter. Yeah.
But I assume it's only the Ryzen CPU that's actually got the offset, so maybe we can somewhat rely on the VRM temp of 30 degrees.
Yeah, you would hope that the Gigabyte utility can read the Gigabyte board's temperatures, but you never know.
Well, I can't seem to do auto-tuning for some reason. It's something I have to have a look into and just report back on the review. So I've chucked a Prime 95 blend on.
So this is at what, 4?
No, this is just at stock clocks.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to see how the VRMs do.
Oh, yeah,
temperature-wise, because that was one of the queries that we had. And just load up a AMD Ryzen Master so I can see CPU temp and CPU Z, just for lols. It's still, like, I think Drew came up with this as well. It's a weird experience having so many threads where you can do something like a Prime 95 blend test and still be able to use the system in the background. So running at 3.7 gigahertz, 44 degrees on the CPU, and 41 degrees on the VRMs.
So this is a stock clock?
Stock clocks.
So I guess that's XFR, right? Where it's going to 3.7? Or is that the stock turbo?
3.7's relative. It's Yeah, I think it must be the XFR thing.
Yeah, because stock turbo is 3.6, isn't it? On the
Stock clocks is
1600X?
3.6, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 3.6 stock and 4 turbo. So I guess single-threaded XFR will probably take it to what, 4.1?
I would say so.
Something like that. It's pretty impressive we got processors with that many cores that are almost 4 gigahertz base. That's crazy.
That's the point I keep making about the Xeons and the Threadripper and stuff like that. It's insane that we can do this kind of stuff where you can overclock even with the 1800Xs, you can overclock that to like 4.5 gigahertz and still have 8 cores, 16 threads on a desktop board under regular cooling. So as a reference, I think my ambient in here is about 12 to 15 degrees. VRM's sitting at 48. Yeah, it's nice and chilly here. It's great.
Yeah, my AC has trouble keeping up, so it's like 29 to 30.
Ooh, toasty.
Yep. But it's like, actually, like, it's just a little window unit. And so, like, I could just, like, leave it running and it would keep it down to, like, I don't know, 26, 27. But I don't like running it all the time. Because, like, just electricity plus it's noisy.
Yeah.
Plus I don't want to wear out the compressor.
Yeah.
So I purposely just, like, leave it off. And it's like, I figure that, because I've kind of gotten used to it now, because I've been doing this for a few weeks. And it's like, man, by the time I go back to Taipei, I'll be like, oh, this is nice weather we're having.
I expected Taiwan to be hot, but walking out of the airport terminal to the bus stop was... It's almost like walking into a wall of humidity.
It is, like, because it's humid here, but it's like, man, it was just a whole nother level of humid in Taipei.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in the upper half in the North Island in New Zealand, so we get subtropical weather where in the middle of summer we do get relatively high humidity, but not like that.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I mean, Taiwan is still pretty far away from the equator too. Like, I can't imagine any further south. It must just be like miserable.
You probably get used to it after a while, but like,
I guess you do, yeah.
I wouldn't cope as a trade show kind of thing. You're there for a week every year, and it's a oof. We seem to be sitting about stable at 52 degrees on the VRM, so that's completely fine.
Yeah. I think people are using like HW monitor and stuff like that.
Yeah, the offsets are a bit off.
Yeah, I think it's not reading the temperatures, because I think people in the forum thread were saying they were seeing like 100 degrees. Which
no,
is
there's
like,
no
that can't
way.
be right.
Your board would turn off by then.
Yeah.
Thermal protection and whatnot. Yeah. So stock clocks under Prime 95 blend, which is pretty much one of the most brutal things you can do to a computer. 47, 48 degrees on the CPU under NHL 12. And
oh, that's true though. You have airflow over it, so that probably helps.
But for a test, I'm about to go disconnect the 120mm fan at the top and pull it off to see what a proper low-profile cooler can do.
So you have the 92 on the bottom?
I've got the 92 on the bottom, and the 120 is just sitting on top, so I can just easily pull it off. This is one of the tests I'm going to do, because it kind of, with the 90mm fan on, it kind of gets closer performance-wise to the was it the L9X65?
Yeah, because the height difference is almost, I think it's almost the same height with the bottom fan only.
Yeah.
It's like 66 versus 65.
It's very much, I'd much rather have, apart from the hardware compatibility, which on this board the NHL 12 has no issues. I've got 2 different orientations I can put on this board without it conflicting with anything. Which is better than... It's one of those funny things. I remember on a review I posted of, I think it was one of their top-down coolers where I used the mounts from another nocturne cooler to rotate the cooler on an AMD platform, and then complained in the review about why can't this be a thing that we can do the full rotation. And I was told it's not really feasible, hardware compatibility and that kind of stuff. And now we've got this AM4 mounting kit, which lets you do exactly what I suggested.
Well, I think it's because the AM4 is a little bit more square. Because the AM3 ones AM3 pattern is like more rectangular.
Yeah, but even then, like I've done a lot of when I noticed that thing, I actually did a whole lot of, because I've got a rather large selection of nocturnal coolers. I played around with a whole lot of them, and it's on my board, which is the Mini ITX FM2 board. It's quite cramped, and I could still get most of their coolers rotated around. Excuse me.
Yeah, it still annoys me that's not a square pattern.
Oh no, I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been running the square mounting pattern for AM3 FM2 was what is it? 754, 939, 940, AM2, AM2 plus, AM3, AM3 plus, FM2, FM1, FM2, FM2 plus, all have the same mounting pattern. So I've actually just been using the same coolers across pretty much all my rigs for the past decade. Wait for the temperatures to stabilize. Yeah, this is a 95 watt CPU, and I'm ripping the crap out of it right now. It's sitting about 61 degrees CPU temperature with just a 90mm fan, and the VRM's at 67 degrees.
Oh, so the VRM temps jumped up a little bit there.
Well, on the L12, the 120 sits directly over the VRM heatsink, but the 90mm at the bottom doesn't.
Okay.
But it is still blowing air around that area of the motherboard, just not direct airflow like the 120 does on it. Give this a chance to stabilize, then I'm going to do the S4 Mini style test, which is basically put a side panel on top of this.
What do you have it in now? It's
just open bench.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I can. I'm going to put a side panel from another case close enough to it to kind of restrict the airflow you would have in a slimline case like the S4 Mini or the Zaper Sentry and that kind of stuff. Just as a test, because there was another one that the community asked for information on how would it do in that kind of configuration. Because it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see like a 1800X in an S4 Mini. 1800X in a Zotac GTX 1080 Ti shorty.
I think somebody's done X99, so yeah, it shouldn't be an issue.
It's an amazingly powerful. That's an amazingly powerful rig at that point.
Yeah.
If we ever get around to doing the whole performance per litre thing on the forum, that would win by far. Okay, so VRMs have popped up to 73 degrees.
Oh, yeah, they're getting pretty toasty, even with a little bit of airflow then.
Yeah. So this is more closely replicating the likes of the NHL 9X65, just with the smaller fan and indirect airflow. 74 degrees. Still within comfort zone. Like, I'm happy to put a VRM up to like 90 degrees.
Oh yeah, they can take it.
The VRMs on this board are higher quality than, say, on a ECS board, which I've blown up before.
You gonna take the VRM heatsink off and take pictures of it?
Of course I am.
Okay.
Doing all of
I wonder if replacing the thermal pads would help any.
Well, trying to source thermal pads in my country is pretty challenging.
Yeah.
The only ones you get on the thing are like generic ones that are used for like people just fixing a server, and that's it. there's no high performance thermal pad stuff. I'd have to import it.
Yeah, it'd probably be worth it. Just import a sheet of it for motherboard reviews.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I've put a side panel on the rig, so we're kind of basically, what's the word for it? Kind of mimicking the more restrictive side intakes of the slim cases that the community uses. Let's see how that goes. Toasty. I mean, for a 95-watt chip, it's doing relatively well. Like 65 degrees on a 90mm cooler. We're actually currently sitting at the temperature where previous generation AMD chips actually started thermal throttling.
Yep.
VRM sitting at 77. And for those wondering who are watching, yes, the CPU speed does say 0 RPM. It's only because the 90mm fan on the way it's connected to the motherboard is via a Noctua PWM splitter, and the PWM line was on the 120mm fan on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fan is still running at full speed, as I said in the BIOS. It's not like I've just completely gone passive on the system. I learnt my lesson with that one. The first thermal testing rig board that we had for SFF Network died a glorious death because of the passive cooling. By glorious, I mean it just didn't boot afterwards. No pops, no fire, no nothing. It just was like, oh.
I love that passive system in the forum. The M Systems guy. That rig is insane.
I don't remember seeing that one.
The one with all the heat pipe bending?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing the level of what some of the community members go to. Just like...
Yeah, that's way more work than I would want to put into a system. So I would just put a fan on it and call it a day.
Yeah, people have got the time. Some people have got the time, though.
Yeah.
VRM's coming up on 80 degrees. CPU's at 70. For the people watching, keeping in mind that this is the Prime 95 blend test, which is pretty brutal on CPUs. Excuse me. Yeah, it pretty much loads up your CPU as high as it'll go. Like more than you'll ever see in day-to-day use, and same with your memory.
Maybe I like crunching prime numbers for day-to-day.
Yeah, but you're not normal, and we know that.
Yeah.
You run a 12-core, 24-thread Xeon in your main workstation.
It's a 14, thank you very much.
Close enough.
Yeah.
That's still 10 more than I've got.
Though really, it's not worth it. The clocks are, or the single-threaded performance is just,
not good.
Yeah.
Which is the speed that you will notice on a day-to-day basis.
Yep. I don't know, because I don't know. It really sucks that I just don't find any of the Ryzen ITX boards very compelling. Yeah.
Well, and saying that you're used to the X99 ASRock ITX board, which is insane.
Yeah, well, before that, I had the X99 MWS, which was that really nice micro ATX, and then before that, I basically have owned almost all the X99 micro ATX other than the ASRock boards because they couldn't do space slide because they didn't have PCI 3.0 on the bottom slot.
Ah,
And then I had, what did I have? I had the Asus, the original Impact, which I don't know. That's a weird board, the Z87 Impact. Like the M.2 is PCIe 2.0 X1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
just
2.0
X1.
A token slot.
Yeah, it's slower than SATA.
I think they just put it there just to have that feature ticked off on the spec
Yep.
sheet.
Yep. Got to have it on the checkbox. Yeah, it was useless. But it was a really nice board otherwise. I really liked it.
I really hope we see an ROG AM4 motherboard.
I hope so too. Or ITX anyway. Is there even an ROG ATX though? I don't think there is.
I think they're doing it under their Strix branding.
Strix? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
The addition of Strix to the Asus branding portfolio just messes everything up.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
You used to just have Asus and then ROG. Your enthusiast grade stuff was in ROG. Everything else was on the Asus side. Now with 3 different brands, and it's just
Well, you have the WS, the workstation. You have ROG for the highest end. Then you have Strix, and then you have Prime. And I think Prime is just like the normal
budget
boards now.
Yeah, budget / mainstream.
Yeah.
There
is a ROG. There's a Crosshair.
Oh, yeah.
But it's ATX, of course.
We basically needed like a rehash of the old M4 88 Ti Deluxe board for AM4.
Yeah.
Because that board could handle 125 watts after the revision.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Before the revision, they didn't have VRM heatsinks on it because the VRMs were up in the top corner of the motherboard. And they used to fry, and then they did a revision where they put a heatsink on it, and it fixed all the problems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But on that board, I overclocked that 555 Phantom to 4.5 gigahertz. So I could definitely cope with it.
Oh, but I would love to see that board on AM4 because like they wouldn't need space for the chipset heatsink, so they could use that for like M.2, like a top side M.2.
That would be perfect space for it too.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll see people do SODIMM more now that
I hope so.
ASRock's doing it for the X299.
It just makes more sense.
Yep.
But it doesn't look as cool because you can't really do full RGB and stuff like that on it. So the manufacturers aren't so happy with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been blending for about 5 minutes with the side panel on. We're at 87 degrees on the VRM, which is toasty, but within spec. And 75 degrees on the CPU, which is fine.
Well, I guess I can kind of see why people are seeing...
The C75 degrees and 87 degrees on the VRM and think that's a bit toasty, but I mean it's ITX.
Yeah, because if you have it inside a case that's like, I don't know, 30 inside the case or 40 even, then yeah, I can see people hitting 100.
Yeah, especially in the middle of summer.
Yep.
But at the moment, the way I've got it set up is I've got the power supply blocking air on one side, graphics card at the bottom, side panel on it. At the top, I've got a cable clutter mess. So it's relatively similar to a well-ventilated mini ITX case. But in saying that, my ambient is like 12 degrees.
Yeah, that kind of throws it off a little bit. I'd be curious because, like, on the Skylake one, Roman was finding that if you just took the heatsink off and blew a fan at it, you got better temps. So I'm curious if that'd be the case here.
I don't think I want to risk this board with that.
Well, like you could do it at the end of the review after you're done reviewing it.
Yeah, but I was thinking we're going to use this for our long-term thermal testing.
I guess. I mean, in the end, you're going to end up with like 3 of them. You'll have a BioStar, the ASRock, and the Gigabyte. So.
Yeah, we'll give a couple of them away though.
Yeah.
Due to ethics, I can't just use one as my workstation.
Can you? How much is the BioStar there?
Not available. The only one that's
Oh,
available
really?
in New Zealand is the Gigabyte, which is 205 New Zealand dollars, so exactly what I paid for my FM2 ITX board. I'm kind of waiting for Ryzen 3. I'm actually seriously considering an upgrade.
Ryzen 2 or Ryzen 3?
Ryzen 3 is what I said.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. You mean the chip?
Yeah.
That's so confusing because there's like Ryzen 2, like the second generation. I wonder how they're going to do that. Because like I think AMD themselves have referred to it as Ryzen 2.
Yes, they have.
So I don't know. That'll be confusing.
They'll probably just do like R3 or like R5 2600X or something like that.
Well, because like they've done two, like they had the Phenom and then Phenom 2. Which that got a little weird though, because then you had like the Phenom 2 X2, then whatever the actual model number is.
Yep.
That gets a little weird.
The X4, X6.
Oh, hey, it's Jay. Hi, Jay.
Give away the BioStar, the board sucks. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on Jay's Instagram feed with that kind of stuff. That board did not last long in his hands.
Oh, really?
He upgraded pretty quick. He wanted to upgrade pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But in saying that, BioStar is always kind of known as a second-tier manufacturer, so I'm not surprised. At least it's not ECS. Right,
It's
what else
not
can I
a
do?
terrible board though. It's just not anything special.
Yeah, it's not what we expect from like tier 1 kind of manufacturers.
It's the nicest looking of them though, just like aesthetically.
Yeah. I'm
that's-
a fan of this Gigabyte one, but that's just because I've
Okay.
learned to love the layout.
Yeah, the Ace Rock one just looks gaudy. Like the tone of red that they use just doesn't look good.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed with this one, because it does have the red slots and stuff like that, it seems to... The way they've done it is quite subtle. Now that I've got a graphics card in it and the memory in it, it's kind of... You can barely see any red on it. Oops. See how quickly the temps come down. CPU's already down to 40 degrees.
I guess I better make sure my stream is gonna work.
Well, you'll be coming up live soon. I'm going to throw it out to our YouTube audience. I've pretty much done most of the overclocking, so we managed to hit 3733 on the memory, relatively stable. 4.1 gigahertz on the CPU. Jay just asked what the hardware we're using is, and this is just a quick synopsis. Just move that out of the way so you can actually read it. So we've got a Gigabyte AB350N-Gaming Wifi motherboard, FSP Dagger 600W SFX modular power supply, Ryzen 1600X, G-Skill Flare X DDR4 3200 MHz with those timings that are on screen right now, a Samsung 900 series SSD with VNAND, GTX 750 Ti low profile, and a Noctua NHL12 CPU cooler. So it's a relatively mundane setup, so this is what could be achievable by anyone, assuming you spec the components like we did. But considering the memory issues that it's been known to happen with Ryzen, hitting 3733 megahertz on the memory, I'm quite pleased with. Which mouse do I have? That one. So I'll throw it out to the community on YouTube watching us. Is there anything you guys want me to see test on this motherboard before I shut her down and do some more review work on it? You've got a message.
Yep.
Oh, well, the BioStar couldn't go past 2400 before the recent update. That's bad. I'm not going to justify that with a response, Jay. Oops. So many keyboards. Jay is asking, Jay, for those who aren't watching the chat, Jay is also known as Tech Everything, a member of our forum and a YouTuber. How am I liking Ryzen so far? I'm very tempted to upgrade, even though I swore that I was going to keep my system for a year. It kind of helps that I went, like, the first board that I'm testing is this Gigabyte one. It kind of feels like everything that AMD should have been the last couple of generations.
Yep.
Full connectivity, reliable.
Oh, could you imagine if like this was Bulldozer?
Oh,
like if Bulldozer was as good as Ryzen is.
yeah.
Like,
if they can,
that would have been amazing.
Yeah, if Bulldozer was never a thing, we just went straight from Phantom to Ryzen. If only. But this board just has the features that I really wish my FM2 board would have, so like M.2 and just, yeah. SDCH is asking, did I say that I tested up to 3733 on this board? If so, at what timings? Yes, I did. 3733 at 18, 18, 18, 38. And at 1.4... I think I did 1.4 volts on that one. So this is with the... I don't actually have the pack on me. Yeah, G-Skill 3200 megahertz C14 pack with Samsung B-Die memory. Let me just see if I can find it for the proper model code for those who are interested. One moment. So for those who are interested, the memory kit is the F4-3200 C14D-16GFX, which is initially rated as 1.35 volts, 14, 14, 14, 34. So to get 3733, I did loosen the timings up a bit, but not as much as I expected to have to do. So it seems that the whole Ryzen memory thing's kind of getting a bit better. James, are you ready to start streaming?
Nope.
Okay, well that doesn't help. I'll just ramble on for a few more minutes then.
Yeah, I forgot I don't have the scene set up. This is a new installation since the last time I've streamed.
Okay, I'll keep the viewers distracted for a little bit then. What else we got to do? Actually, while I'm in here. So, for those who are into RGB, this is the app that comes with it. That runs the RGB LEDs from inside the operating system. It is, you can connect it with it. You can connect to it with your Android or iPhone. Excuse me. However, I have been unable to do that, but my network is set up a bit weirdly because of servers and stuff. You can set up to Pulse. You can set up to music, which I will do a film of for the review. And just all of the different settings. This is a little misleading, but I guess it's just a generic app. There is actually only one strip of LEDs on this motherboard, so you can't just set like, oh, this can be blue, this can be green. No, you've got one color to pick. Random, it's like a party in my house. Does Ryzen Master boot with Windows in my system? No, but that's not too difficult to set up. You just just do the usual config to do that. It'd be interesting to see if there is a way to do that, if there's actually an option for that. Close out of that, close out of that. Is there advanced? Ooh, I didn't see that before. They got something I didn't spot in Ryzen Master is you got temperature per core as well, and speed per core. I think no, just temperature overall, but speed per core, like graphs. Okay, I can't see a options thing in here, but you just basically just drag it into your startup folder on your computer and you should be able to get it to boot with Windows. Jay is saying, after the BIOS update for the BioStar board, Ryzen Master now boots with Windows. He didn't change anything. Interesting. I wonder if... Question to Jay, do you have any of the other BioStar utilities on the system? Because it may be something that the BioStar software itself is doing. Nope, no utilities. Trying to figure out what happened. Unfortunately, I've got no idea what could be causing that. So I'm going to do a quick reboot, see if I can get the 3733 megahertz again and send it off to Hardware Bot.
That's weird. I thought you could window capture windows on the secondary monitor. Yes.
Sorry?
I thought you could window capture like windows that are on the secondary monitor in OBS. I thought you could, but
you can say you can capture per window. Oops.
Yeah.
And you can also capture per display.
Yeah, for some reason I have it, but it's like not working.
Weird.
Yeah. Huh. Not sure what the deal is.
See, I've kind of got the advantage at the moment where that's right, I had to show manual voltage on this. Where did it say that? 1.4 volts. Let's see if I can get this to boot. At the moment with the stream that I'm doing, I've actually got a dedicated capture card in the rig, which kind of helps. Yep, it's not happy with that RAM speed. Yeah, the 3733 is a bit finicky and it's not completely stable, but I'm sure if I spent like half a day kind of tweaking it, I could actually have it properly stable.
Let's see, did that work? Videos.
So I can figure out why this didn't boot. Frequency settings, that's normal. Oops, what was disabled there? XMPP.
Oh, I think I figured it out.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nope.
Not awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why it doesn't work. How strange. How strange. Because I'm pretty sure I'm doing the same thing I did before, but it doesn't work.
Well, I'm having the same problem with this 3733 megahertz memory. I had it working before. I can't figure out what the settings I had were.
I don't know.
Okay, why aren't you working? Did I do it with that and then tweak it up from there? Shouldn't make any difference. Let's see if that makes a difference. Link. Yep.
Oh, I think it's due to hardware acceleration.
Ah. Let's. Yeah, when it's recovering from a unstable overclock, it does take a while to boot up. Yeah, just for the hell of it, I'll throw everything up to 20 and see what happens. Oops, not 204, that'll take forever.
Yeah, it's hardware acceleration, so I guess... How would I fix that? I guess I could just use Firefox. I don't think Firefox has that problem.
Well, the overclocking is not working particularly well, so I'm going to leave it at that. Give us a few minutes to set up James's stream, and we'll see you live soon. I'm going to quickly find the right mouse and share the link to where we'll be, where James will be streaming in a moment, and go from there. With all the loud clanging that's going on.
Oops. Blur, 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 blur.
Mixer.com/SFF network.
Is it SF?
That's the link you gave me.
No, you're right. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so I'm going to sign off for now. I will be in the chat room of James's stream. I'm not sure if he's going to let me be on microphone.
You can if I can figure out how to do it.
Just record desktop audio.
Let's see. Pop that out.
But anyway, we'll figure this out in the meantime. So thanks everyone for joining us on YouTube. Wasn't exactly a hugely successful stream in regards to the results that I got, but I mean, I'm an amateur overclocker. Who knows? We did learn that we can run the memory at 3733 if we're lucky, and the CPU can go up to 4100, which is nice. So, if you're not already subscribed to SFF Network's YouTube channel, please subscribe. Like this video if you like it, and come and join us in the forum, which is linked in the description of this video. Thanks for watching.